So let's take a seat together for a little while. We'll have a short meditation and then some pranayama. So make sure your seat is comfortable for you. You feel like you won't have to fidget too much. And you're welcome to close your eyes and bring all of your antennas, however you say that in the plural, bring all those antennae back home. So this time is dedicated for your practice. You may lengthen up through the crown of your skull. So this one sort of primary antenna, that connection between you and the divine, that antenna is established. It also goes down through your root into the ground, into the earth. In yoga, we call this the central channel. And if you think of that like on the radio, what is the central channel? The station that you listen to the most often. In this case, we want to listen to the central channel, which is consciousness and vitality, grace, love. This week we've been doing some work with the neck and shoulders. So I'm going to ask you to pay a little bit of attention there right now. When you reach up through the crown of the skull and down through your tailbone, if you were to imagine your profile view, is your face more forward or your head set more in the center? Do your shoulders come a little more forward, or can they rest kind of in the center of the sides of the sockets there? And what do you sense is happening between your shoulder blades? Now deepen your breathing and try to sense if the breath can go smoothly, as if the central channel were like a straw that doesn't have any obstructions. Can the breath go smoothly through? And where does it not feel smooth? Where does it get a little bit interrupted? And please bring your hands together at your heart. So we have this central channel, and then we have bringing together the seeming opposites. The two palms meet. And this sense of this and that comes together in the center. And we'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya this morning. Let's begin. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om asatoma satgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. And while sitting upright, I would like to explore the neck and shoulders a bit on behalf of your pranayama, but also the questions you've had about stress. So place your hands on your shoulders, elbows out to the side. And the action we'll do is we're going to inhale the elbows forward and up. We've been doing this with your hands behind your head, but then we're going to exhale the elbows wide, and we can keep the hands on the shoulders. So that's going to be the first part of our process. And let me add to it here just a moment. Okay, so it's going to be inhale, forward and up, exhale out and around like that. Okay, and when we do that, then we're going to add a little back bend to go up. When we go out and around, I'm going to ask you to try to bring your head down as the elbows go back. Okay, so let's start with the most simple variation of this. And please use your ujjayi breath. So inhale, elbows forward, elbows only going up. Exhale, smooth circle, the elbows going back, like you're making a figure 8 or something. Okay. Now elbows out to the side, we're going to go forward and up. Exhale, elbows wide, make a big circle. Now we're going to add the head. So inhale, elbows forward, elbows up, lift your collarbones and your gaze. And then exhale the elbows back, but bring your head and your chin down. Inhale, elbows forward and up. Also raise your collarbones and your eyes. And then exhale, elbows back and gaze down. Now lower your arms, turn your palms face out. Ujjayi, inhale to go up. Turn your palms out. Ujjayi, exhale to go down. Lower your head down as you do this. Okay. Inhale, ujjayi, lower, middle. Pace your arms up to the heart, collarbones, lift your gaze. Exhale, arms wide, slowly bring your head down, but the exhale breath is still rising up the front of your spine. One more time, please. Now return your hands to your lap. Let's make the head level and just try to sense what is the experience of your central antenna now. Now please put the palms together like this. We're going to take them up overhead, and then when we take the hands down behind the head, you're going to turn the palms like this. So when your hands are behind your head, you'll have the back of the hands touching like that. Okay, so palms together. And let's go inhale, ujjayi, we're going up. And then exhale, put the backs of the hands together as your head comes down. Point your fingers down the back of the spine. Now inhale, lift your heart, your collarbones, press your head back into your forearms. And then exhale, bring your head into the downward jalandhara position. And inhale, send this arrow upwards again and gaze up. Exhale, lower your hands to be in front of your heart. Do same thing again. Inhale, ujjayi. Put the backs of your hands together. Exhale. Inhale, lift your heart. Lift your collarbones. Press your head back into your hands and forearms. And then exhaling, come to your jalandhara bandha position. And inhale, return the arrow upright. And exhale, hands down in front of your heart. Return your hands to your lap. Without any particular effort on the breath, just pause to feel what's happening now in the upper part of your antenna, heart and throat and head. For some of you, you might have met up with the limitations in your shoulders in doing that. For others, it might have been novel and you felt some kind of fresher energy about what you're doing. Of course, there's other experiences you could be having as well. So let's take this consideration for the head, neck, and shoulders into a standing practice, starting with prasarita padottanasana. So I want to spotlight this other video, see if I can do it. What is that happening with my options? Oh, I see, I got it. Okay, great. So let's take a wide stance and the length of one leg, please. I stepped on a cat toy. So when you take this wide stance, you're going to have your feet one leg length apart. Go ahead and come down with 2 blocks nearby, so you have them at the ready. And let's just place the hands directly under the shoulders. So we were working there with the upper hemisphere of your antenna. Now we're going to include the lower hemisphere too. When you inhale, glide your sitting bones back, lift your tailbone, lengthen the front of your spine, and reach high on your fingertips as you bring your heart forward, like cow pose. And then exhale, press your palms firmly down. And as you round the spine in, imagine it more like your cat pose spine. Include the lower belly. And inhale, glide your sitting bones back. And go 1 vertebrae at a time forward like cow pose. And exhale, ujjayi. And really think of it like cat pose. So it's not like how straight can your back be and how flexible can your hamstrings be. Twice more, please. Inhale to glide forward. And exhale to deeply bow. Once more, inhale to glide forward. Imagine you're kind of cleaning the channel or the antenna, getting better, more clear reception. And therefore better, more clear transmission as well. Okay, now keeping your feet as they are, walk your hands forward. So this is like looking as if you're doing downward dog pose, but please be on your fingertips and your thumb tips. And then the spine will not move as much here, but you can make the same intention. So inhale and glide your heart forward. Stretch the upper back spine, but also lift your sitting bones. And then exhale, press into your fingertips and come into a cat pose spine. Again, inhale, start from your sitting bones. As you bring your spine forward, glide your heart forward, almost like you're pulling your fingertips towards you on the yoga mat. And then exhale, press into your fingertips and start broadening the back of your body. Come into your cat pose. Okay, twice more. On the inhale, we're going towards cow pose. Press your fingers down and glide them towards you, even though they're not moving. And exhale to press into your fingertips and broaden the back of your body. And here's the last one. Inhale. And exhale, press the floor away from you. Round the spine, allow your head to come down between your upper arms and to gaze back at the edge of your mat behind you. And then releasing, walk your hands back towards your feet. Let's go heel toe in until you're in mountain pose. Raise your hands to your hips and come up to your mountain pose. And let's imagine that you've been cleaning the antenna, right? As if somebody might clean the church steeple when they go up to ring the bell. Somebody might take care of that stairwell. You're cleaning this channel or this antenna. What is the feeling of that right now? Okay, now I'm going to ask you to come down to the floor with your 2 blocks. And you'll need at least 1 block for this, but some of you will prefer to use 2. We're going to put the block between the hands. It's my recommendation that you have skin to mat contact. And so when you place your hands down, let's do palms face up. So on your forearms, palms face up. This is a stable structure. And what I'd like you to do is press your elbows down and broaden the back of your heart. Inhale and lift the base of your skull. So there, your ujjayi breath. This is like doing table pose, but on your forearms and your knees, rather than on your hands and your knees. Okay, now we're going to inhale and make this into cat pose. So press down into both elbows, curl your head in between the upper arms. And then exhale, start from your sitting bones. Take the tailbone back, pubic bone back. Bring your spine forward, and at the upper part of the breath and the upper part of the spine, you're looking forward like cow pose. Okay, so let's inhale to cat this time. And exhale to cow. Inhale to cat. And exhale to cow. Now your knees are back behind your elbows here in table pose. Don't make them any closer. So the knees and elbows will not come towards each other. Tip this block up and come to the back of the elbows, the upper arm part of the back of your elbows. And as you reach your hips back like this, I don't expect that your hips are going to child's pose. In fact, I hope that they're not in child's pose. Lengthen your spine and do keep the elbows grounded right where they were. as you hold the block, one of the things that I like to do is to turn my palms to face my shoulders. So I'm actually holding the block with the pinky fingers only. Okay, so inhale deeply. And then please come forward to your table pose. You should be already set there. We'll do the palms face up. Now walk your knees a tiny bit back and see where do you want to place your knees so that you come into Sphinx pose. And sorry about my hair. I don't have a hair tie today. So when you come into your Sphinx pose, you have your forearms, you have your palms facing up. Can you lengthen the spine a little bit like cow pose? And so where your knees are right now on the floor, where the tailbone and the pelvis are, this is going to be the distance between your elbows and knees for the next table pose. Okay, so inhale your heart forward. And then exhale, push down and come to a kind of weird table pose where your shoulders are over your elbows and the knees are well behind your hips. And then inhale and glide forward to Sphinx pose. So lay your thighs down, tailbone down, bring your heart forward, raise the crown of your skull. Exhale, table pose. Press down through your forearms, sweep the little low belly section in and up, lift the base of your skull. Inhale to Sphinx pose. And exhale to table pose. Now, it might not seem like it to you right here, but we are getting a certain kind of exercise into your shoulders. Inhale your heart forward so that when we go to that prayer position again that we just did a bit ago, it should feel more limber and more stable. So one more time, table pose. And now Sphinx pose. So lay the thighs down, tailbone down, glide your heart forward, lengthen the front of your spine, reach up through the crown of your skull. And now exhale up to table and walk the knees back into your more familiar table pose. And let's see what happens here if you tip back to bring the block over your head like you're praying. That's why I call this a sort of prayer position. So it's possible that your upper back will feel a little bit more limber, or that your elbows will feel more stable. You can press them down against the floor. My hope is that you're not overarching your lower back. And I don't expect your hips to go to your heels. We're not doing child's pose right now. Now as you next exhale, drift forward, touch this block to the floor, and walk back to take this block to sit on in vajrasana. Let's find out how your antenna, how your channel is doing. So it wouldn't surprise me if you feel like there's a kind of energy that fountains upwards. In fact, after headstand, that's one of the things that we want to sense, is that the mind is quiet, but there's a fountaining energy that goes upwards. I won't be teaching headstand today. I'm only referencing that. It's one of the master poses. Now, I have a really interesting sequence for you at the end of class using either a foam roller or 2 blocks. I'll show it with the blocks. And I'm going to address your scalenes, your upper traps, your levator scapula. Let's come to that after we have a little bit of heat for the practice now. And I'm smiling about that because I was watching these master classes, and I just use the word master, all these master classes and webinars, and they always say, we have a big surprise for you at the end. And so I'm actually saying what I've been hearing other people say. So I have something planned at the end of the class for the subtlety of the scalenes, the upper traps, and the levator scapula. Okay, let's put the blocks forward. Please come up to standing. And notice what your channel feels like right now. And also, if this were the central channel on the radio broadcast of your mind, what might you transmit from here? And how much more clear will your reception be for what you're receiving. Okay, please bring your hands to your heart. Let's inhale and do ujjayi, please, to rise upwards. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up. Okay, uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward, raise to your fingertips. Okay, left toes back. Inhale to rise, crescent. Put the backs of the hands together down behind the head. That was your exhale. Now inhale to go up. Press your head gently into your forearms. Exhale, gaze down, raise your elbows, draw your front ribs in. Inhale to go back up. And exhale, glide steadily forward and down. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Exhale, uttanasana. Press into the two blocks. Remind yourself that you can use that internal sort of cat pose belly at the end of the exhale. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. And take your right toes back. Inhale to rise, crescent. You put the backs of the hands together. Then inhale to go up. Resist the urge to flare your front ribs forward, and you do have permission to press your head into your arms. And then exhale to gaze down. Raise your elbows, broaden your back waist. Inhale, taking that arrow back up. And exhale, smoothly glide forward. Place your hands and inhale backwards, downward dog pose. We exhale forward, plank pose. Step over one foot and then lower the knees, step over the other foot, seal pose. Exhale, slide your shoulders back, come halfway to cobra. Inhale, push down to go up, seal pose. Exhale, plank pose. Lift the base of the skull, just like that weird table pose we had a bit ago. Reach back, downward facing dog pose. Okay, awkward foot forward, second foot forward, uttanasana. Inhale to rise. Put the hands in reverse namaste behind your head. Inhale to reach up. Press your head back into your forearms. You will not be able to lift your chin as freely. And exhale, gaze down, raise your elbows, snug your front ribs in. Inhale, aim your arrow high. And exhale, we're returning to Anjali Mudra. Continuing. Urdhva chair pose. Urdhva, listen for the news of the central channel. Exhale, uttanasana. Again, like cleansing the channel with each exhale. Inhale, glide forward, receiving the information, the vitality. Exhale, left toes back. Inhale to rise, upward hands pose. This time, exhale, keep your left arm up, sweep the right arm around, and reach back to hold your hands. This is called Gomukhasana for the arms. Inhale, raise your heart up. And right where the hands might be touching, I know not all hands are going to touch, but where they would be touching at the back of the heart, that's where you're back bending from. So raise your left elbow like the ear of the cow. It's called cow face pose. And then exhale, release your right arm and raise both arms up. Exhale, glide forward and down. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Uttanasana. Notice the difference in your upper back. Right upper back, left upper back. Since we did Gomukhasana just on one side. Inhale, glide forward. Okay, right toes back. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Now this time keeping your right arm up, exhale the left arm down and see if the two hands can hold each other back there. On this side, mine cannot, so I'm with most of you there. And let's inhale to go up, so you're having a little back bend of the heart. Imagine raising the right elbow like the ear of the cow. And then releasing, raise both arms up. As you inhale, raise the arrow high. Exhale. Holding the blocks firmly, step back, inhale, downward dog. Exhale, roll forward to plank. Remember to lift the base of your skull and the inner belly. Inhale, step over the other foot first this time as you rise to seal pose. Then exhale, just halfway down, shoulders back. Yep. Inhale, press up, seal pose. Exhale, plank pose. Lift the base of your skull and the inner belly. Inhale, reach back, downward facing dog. And then the other awkward foot forward, and the second foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise. And exhale, hands to your heart. And come to mountain pose where you can ask again, okay, what is happening with the central channel? With your antenna. What are we likely to transmit from this place? What is our sort of echo outwards? And what are we able to receive? Sometimes you have to tune your antenna to receive what's really being said, or to receive that which appears to be less seen or heard in daily life. Okay, let's take a yoga strap, please. This is from yesterday's class, but we don't all come to the 7 a.m. class, so we're going to repeat. It's also a part of Monday's class, and Vin had put a note, or maybe it was on the thanking me for the shoulder work. We're going to do a version of that right now where you get to have it be it's called a closed chain. So you make the loop large enough that when you put your arms in cactus pose, your wrists are parallel. Mine are not set just yet, so I have to redo my strap. I made it too short. So the reason I want them to be parallel is I don't want your wrists to be closer to your head than your elbows. I still need to do one adjustment, I think. Yeah, has to be a little bit wider. This large monitor is helpful for seeing my own reflection. Okay, so there we have that. When you press out against the strap now, I'd like you to press out and also to have your elbows go directly out from the shoulder, not in front of and not behind the shoulder. So in that position, you've made this like box shape with your forearms. So standing tall, let's bring this down so that the strap is just right behind your head and you can press your head gently back into it. You know where that is. So the strap doesn't have to be so tight. You should not be pushing your head forward. It's not like a poorly made car seat or airplane seat. So let's do this. Tone the legs, the pelvis, low belly, your spine. Now press your wrists out against the strap, widen your elbows, and gently press your head back into the strap. Tip your shoulder blades into your upper back. And then begin to tip your forearms, the backs of your hands, your fingers, and the back of your head slightly back. So this is, you're supporting the middle of the back of your head with the strap, making a little standing back bend with your arms. And that back bend should really be in your heart, your upper thoracic spine, your head. But not like just the neck, not just the very top spinal vertebrae, and not crunching the lower back. So tone the low belly, floating ribs, mid ribs and throat, and come up to vertical. Press your arms out against the strap and then float it down. Catch it in one hand to relax a moment. Feel what your body is going to do from the crown of your skull, kind of like melting down over the back of the head, the sides of your head, the sides of your neck, shoulders, arms, fingers, and thumbs. And then bring this back up. You have your cool new yoga device. Over the years, I don't have any of those sort of little guinea pig mats here, but people are like, oh, well, you should copyright that. You should build a product, develop a yoga prop. And no, it's not going to happen. This is just a yoga strap that we're doing this with. So again, you want the strap to lightly touch the back of your head, but not to be too firm. Not right now. So tone your feet, your legs, root your tailbone. Imagine the central channel without a kink in it anywhere. Now start pressing out against the strap with your wrists. Widen your elbows and your shoulder blades, even though they're bound to the structure with the strap. And then as you gently press your head back into the strap, tip your forearms back, lift your heart, lift your collarbones. So this becomes a standing back bend, and the back bend is in the heart. Keep the tailbone grounded. So the strap is really at the back of the head, at the middle of the back of your head. Take another breath in. And then exhale and curl yourself up. Raise the arms and release them forward. And you can watch me for just a moment here. So this time I'm going to hold the strap with my hands like this, so I have more control over it. And I place it at the base of my skull. Now my elbows are bent like this. And then going up, I'm going to lift the base of the skull with the strap as I get to arc back. And then rising up and lifting the base of the skull on the way. So now the strap is at the bottom of the head there. Okay, let's try that together. So again, it's the same strap, but I'm holding it. So I made it shorter because I'm holding it. It gets one hand length shorter. Put that at the base of the skull. Your elbows will have to be bent. You energize your legs, tailbone, inner belly. And then bring the elbows forward and start pulling up on the strap. Your hands may make it to the top of your head, and you are pulling the strap up. Raise your elbows up. Don't tip your head back all by itself, please. Lift your heart. So your back bend will be your own, however deep that happens to be. It's based on your thoracic flexibility. And then you're going to exhale, rise up, and the strap helps you to bring your head up. And then this time we just release it. Let the arms come down. Stand in mountain pose. If possible, you can close your eyes and put some attention at the base of your skull and the place between your eyebrows. And then please put your strap aside. And I'm going to show you this next thing with 2 blocks and a blanket to pad the blocks, but you can also use your foam roller if you want to. Okay, so the reason for the 2 blocks plus the blanket on top is that these are more firm than 2 blankets put together, which is one of the ways that we substitute for a foam roller. So I'm going to go like this. And I'd like you to lie on your back so that your shoulder blades are on your roller. Reach back and clasp your hands to hold your head like you're just hanging out, kind of watching this movie on the ceiling of your yoga room. In this case, I specifically don't want you to drop your head back right now, but to have the shoulder blades on the roller and your hands clasped. And let's see what the breath can do here. If you can go from lower belly, mid-torso, and up into your heart. Could you do that with ease now? Can the inhale find the upper inner corners of your collarbones where they meet your sternum? And then exhale, and can you find the exhale moving inwardly first and then up the front line of your spine without coercion? And you may start rolling yourself backwards over the roller. And for those of you for whom your head will comfortably come to the floor backwards, you can do that. And for anybody for whom you need to have a blanket under your head, of course, you would supply that under your head so that reaching backwards is comfortable. Sometimes you're like almost able to do it, but not quite. In that case, you can lift the hips a little bit, and like a seesaw, you end up going a little more smoothly over the roller or the 2 blocks and the blanket. We definitely don't want your neck to feel compromised, so you must either have a very flexible spine or a blanket under your head or a slight lift to your hips right now, or a blanket and a little lift to your hips. And reach back to hold your head, and please roll to your side and come up. Now I'll have you watch me so you can make the next part clear. This is for levator scapula and upper trapezius. So in this case, what I would recommend is when you lie down, if you're using a roller, you actually would use the round part of the roller will go right under the base of your skull. So the roller will be going lengthwise behind you. So if you're using the two blocks and the blanket, you're placing the base of the skull so that you definitely have the chin down towards the throat. And then we take the arm into cactus pose, like I'm doing right there. And you do your best to roll your nose and your chin opposite of your cactus. Because of the elevation of your head and the position of your shoulder and your arm, you'll be addressing the muscle right through here called levator scapula. You need to use your neck rotator muscles to help you turn your nose opposite, because this muscle will be saying, oh, I don't know, should we go there? So either you have your head on the round part of the roller and you're just under the roller, it's going back behind you like a big unicorn crown, or you've got your head on the two blocks and the one blanket. Let's put the right arm into cactus and turn your nose, please, to your left. And gaze down past your left shoulder or your left hip towards the floor. You have a little pressure right now on the left occiput. That is okay. You also have some lengthening on the right side of your neck. Let's be kind and breathe in and out. And roll your head to center. Lower your right hand down to your belly. Take the left arm to cactus pose. And turn your nose and your chin to your right. Keeping the left shoulder grounded. Gaze down past your right shoulder or your right hip towards the floor. And slowly rotate your head back to center and bring your left hand down. So this position sets your head up in what we might think of as jalandhara bandha. Tip your chin in towards your throat and lengthen the back of the neck for a moment. So it's deliberate, not just passive. And then you're going to use the blanket to lift your head. And then place your head on just the blocks. Let's get the blanket where you're going to be able to find it easily, because we're going to use it over the eyes for Shavasana. And let's reach for these two blocks, please. And slide your head down to the floor. And we'll take the blanket like this. It's called Pratyahara blanket, and you can stretch your legs out and come to rest. I'm going to recommend that you gaze down, that your eyes are closed, of course, but you're gazing down the central channel back towards your heels and toes. And when you're gazing down, this is to help your eyes be quiet. And let's imagine for a time that You're not in transmission mode. You're not sending energy or attention outwards. Go down to the heels and toes. And draw your attention away from the outside world very deliberately. Let all of your attention go inward and downward. Every bit of attention that would otherwise be external is drawn in to come back home. Gaze down towards your heels and your toes. Let nothing pull you away. The mind can rest on your toes, your heels, that which is most distant from your head. Allow your body to be deeply restful, very still and grounded, and your eyes down at the heels and the toes. All senses and all mind activity is drawn inwards. Stay deeply at rest for one more long minute. Let all mental activity and all of your senses stay inward and downward. And then without moving the mind or unnecessary muscles, only reach up to slide the blanket backwards slowly so your eyes will stay closed, but you will become aware of the light that's in your room. And notice what happens when you turn kind of the internal light back on in the central channel. And wiggle the toes and bend one knee at a time. Roll to your side. And you can use your blanket to come to take a simple seat for a few moments. And come upright so you're checking in with your channel, your antenna. We have transmission and reception, and yet we often get confused and we go to craving, clinging, distraction, aversion, resistance. So imagine if you were to have the transmission that just comes from you like the fragrance of a flower. You're not trying to make the fragrance bigger or different. And if you were receiving without having to grasp what perception might come to you. Not the regular noise of daily life, but that which is ever present, the hum underneath the noise of life. And then when someone is talking with you, no matter what their words, you're hearing the indwelling love or vulnerability that they are. And not forgetting their potential, their wisdom. And ideally, when you speak, when you transmit with words, what comes through is from that place that's also most indwelling. Please bring your hands to your heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. I will come up to see you. The cat looks so small back there, but he's not that tiny. He's not big, but he's definitely not smaller than a yoga block. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, how are you feeling and the neck and shoulders and everything? I'm sitting awkwardly so you can keep seeing your primary teacher is right there.